Dolapo, hi. I'm even about to go live on TikTok as well. I just had to take that what do they call it, mannequin inside because it's not dressed, so they don't flag my life because of it. I had to keep it in a bathroom. Oops. So we're going to be okay. I'm so sorry. I had to make a video that I want to post later. So that was why I was taking long. We are going to be continuing our discussion, but that discussion is going to start by 4 p.m. because the person we are having the conversation with is Ghanaian. The lawyer we're bringing today, she's Ghanaian. So we agreed 3 p.m. with her, and 3 p.m. Nigerian time is actually 4 p.m. Ghanaian time. So she would be here by 4. But then before that, we are going to be discussing the Pan-Africanist men. I just want us to have that conversation today with women. Because I understand that women seem to make up the bulk of their followers online. People like Dr. Omar. Hola, welcome. May I just want to ask if colonialism was just something that affected women, if it were women that they just packed and took them, paid men for a little bit of money to take them for what they took Africans to, right? To do. Will we have a whole movement such as the Pan-African movement today? And even if we do, will men be a part of it in the manner that men are a part of these systems today, these Pan-African movements today? Please, when you join, like the live, please. When you join, you like the live. Especially people on YouTube, please like the live if you're joining from YouTube. And also share the live with your friends. Basically, today I'm here to discuss Dr. Omar. And there's this other guy again. Majorly, it's Dr. Omar I want to talk about today, honestly. So we are going to be having that conversation from now till 4 p.m. before we have our conversation of the legal implications of being in an intimate relationship with men for women, what women need to know. We'll have that conversation from 4 to 5 p.m. or at most 5:30 p.m. Hi, Mina. I'm using my both phones. At the other phone, I can't charge it. The charging point got bad, right? But then I would have played the video of several other videos of that guy, honestly, the Dr. Omar guy. But you can check him out on TikTok here. You can check him out on TikTok. Okay. Hola. It's my network that was refusing to bring you up, I think. I didn't even see your this in at first. But how comes you're a moderator and you're not able to come up on your own? Don't play any music, oh. I'm streaming on YouTube as well, oh. Say they don't hit me copyright strike. You guys are welcome. Good afternoon. Hola, did you get what I was saying earlier? Good afternoon, beauty plug. Eh? Hola. Love OC, welcome. Ola is an abusive partner, you guys. Ola is giving me the silent treatment because I came late. That there's something wrong. There's something wrong with. Hi, BTS. You're welcome. Let's remain for the sake of the kids. You guys are welcome. Please like the live so that I can notify others before we start properly. Hi, Jane Nelson. You're welcome. I said I just wanted to ask. I'm here to talk about. Okay, BTS. I'm discussing two things. From now till 4 p.m., I'm going to be discussing Pan-Africanist men. And then from 4 p.m. till 5:30, we are going to be talking about the legal implication of women being in a relationship, intimate relationship with men, and what women need to do. So we are going to be having a guest speaker from 4 to 5:30. But for now, we are discussing Pan-Africanist men, especially Dr. Omar. That's the one I even want to talk about today, to be honest.
Which one is Dr. Umar again? Is it the African American guy?
Yes. That loud and
Yeah,
wrong
I
one.
don't like do Nigerian women follow him like that?
They do. I see a lot of them posting his. Even if it's not him, right? There are a lot of those in Nigeria. Exactly, Black Rose. This guy has two baby mamas.
So that Dr. Omar, yeah, I know he talks a lot about yeah, a man should take care of his woman, like blah blah blah. He talks about marriage a lot, or romantic relationships, whatever.
I think you're talking about Yada. Is it Yada Awakening you're talking about? Dr. Omar is that one that talks about black men like to date snow bunnies. Wherever you hear snow bunnies, just know it's Dr. Omar.
Is he Muslim?
I don't. He's sure one of these. I don't think so. I don't think so. He's not, because he clearly has two baby mamas. You cannot have two baby mamas and be Muslim, Abi. Abi, am I tripping?
What do you mean you cannot have two baby mamas and be Muslim? If the person is American.
This guy.
Wait, this one you are talking about, I think I know him.
Yeah.
That Yada Awakening is more, he dresses cool and stuff. Like,
He's the one that is Muslim, that talks about, give your wife money before a man approaches a woman. He has to have like 50,000. He has to give her like $50,000 and all. Then
I think I know who that Dr. Omar, but I can't be sure though, unless I see his picture.
This one is the one that does, black men need to start dating within their own race. Black men are the reason why.
Yeah, he doesn't. Is very anti-white. I know him.
Yes.
Now. He
yes.
Yeah. I don't like either one of them, but I think that Yada Awakening, he dresses better, he presents himself better physically than this Dr. Uma.
Yeah.
Dr. Uma looks homeless half the time. I think it was on an interview with Nick Cannon.
Yeah, and it's that particular interview that even triggered me to even make the video that I posted today, and also want to talk about it today. Because anytime, I think, because of the subjugation that black women have had to experience, anytime they hear anybody say things that looks like he's standing up for them, they tend to chew it up without.
Gravitate towards, yeah.
Yes, so they support him a lot. Hi Tofumi. And he will just be like, oh, black queens and all that. Just because a person calls you a queen does not mean. I even saw a video where
I even hate being called that. I don't know why people like to be called. I'm not a queen. If I'm anything at all, I'm a king.
I saw a video where he said black women are looking for like already made men. Do you get? That a white woman would see, let's just call what he would call them. He say a snow bunny will see a black man who is a work in progress and pick him up and brush him, and like she sees the potentials in him. And then I'm like, that is outrightly not true. That is not true.
So even if it's true, he's saying black women should be doing the same.
Yes, black women should, if they say they should support black men and all. I'm like, this thing this guy is saying is just pure BS. Because black women, there are so many shows where black women are even dating, they are dating and marrying men in prison. What lower can a person go than marrying a person in prison that you don't even know when the person is going to come out?
I think I tend not to watch his videos, but I've heard some of the things he has to say, but I quickly skip past his videos so that I won't be seeing more of it. There's something about his physical appearance that makes me think, if you want, like, this guy is going on interviews and stuff and is looking like he's not someone that I would see on the streets and I'll think that his head is correct, right? Before he even opens his mouth. So I just I can't watch Nick Cannon for 30 minutes than I can watch that guy for 5 minutes. Even though I know that Nick Cannon too is not that it's okay like that, but at least his appearance doesn't make me uncomfortable.
So, major
And black women, because our esteem and this thing is so low, anybody just say, oh, black queen, you just light up.
Yes.
I'm like, what
It's
are
like,
you calling me queen?
it's like somebody, it just feels to them like somebody just gets me, somebody appreciates me. I'm like,
yeah, but they don't. My own problem is that when a woman addresses them as such, they don't light up like that. Do you get? Like they don't come alive the way they come alive when it's a man, like a man who is a complete stranger, saying that to them. And I don't know which medicine women need to take to cure that thing, but it's a problem. It's a problem for them because it makes women easy to manipulate. When someone just say, oh, you just look so beautiful, I like your natural look.
Really, thank you.
And you just I hate such compliments from men. Really, don't compliment me on my looks. Who are you, my husband? Who are you complimenting me on my looks? I find it insulting. And the day I posted on Facebook,
Precious.
That's why Facebook people now, they will only be saying me once or twice a week because I'm losing patience for them. I post, and my audience on Facebook are older people, like older women, right? And mostly foreigners, like mostly Americans and stuff.
I'm okay.
And I posted on there that a man telling me that he likes how I dress modestly. Because someone sent me that message on social media. I was like, oh, I like what you do, blah, 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 and how you dress. I'm like, this guy just supposed to stop at, I like what you do, I like your message. Which one is telling me that you like how I dress modestly? Are you mad? So I now posted on Facebook that a man telling me that he likes how I dress modestly, for me, is a big red flag. And I felt like they would understand it because these people, they are like in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, right? And even the ones that are Nigerians, live abroad, majority of them are just, white Americans and stuff. I felt like they would get it. I got a few likes, but there were one or two people that commented and say, oh, can you please explain what you mean by that? Like, they were confused by it. They didn't understand because they are Christians, right? And they think a man telling them that he likes their modest way of dressing is somehow a compliment. I didn't even know how to explain to them. I just said, that person, it means that person is objectifying my body. That was the best I could say, but I'm just like, that should be a question 19-year-olds should be asking. I don't expect mature women to be asking me to explain that. Anyway, I don't know how I got into that, but anytime I see a man saying, oh, a black queen, my stomach just recoils. Like, I will not even hear the rest of what you are saying. I'm not anybody's queen.
And
even if I marry a man today, this
guy, his method of uplifting black women is by, can you just pass your message, right, and not bring down other people? Because I feel like he targets white women. Miss Becca, welcome. He targets white women, right? And
he
just
targets them because he's a coward. He cannot. His real enemy is white men.
Yes.
But he cannot. He's too cowardly to deal with white.
And
white men.
I feel like he envies.
Going to go after their women.
I feel like he envies white women because on the ladder of patriarchy, white women are placed above him, right? So I feel like
it's possible that he's trying to have a child by a white woman and they turned him down or something, and he's just
no. He said he would never date. He doesn't date white women or anything. He only dates white. But here's the thing: you only date black women, but it's not like you dated them and did right by any of them. You made 2 black women baby mamas, but for some reason you had the audacity to tell black men that black men are the ones who do not uplift black families and all that. Black men go outside their race to date and all that. You are not actually promoting black women. Do you get?
And the fact that someone like him sits, like, when I saw
Exactly, Miss Becca. He believes in polygamy.
I was confused. I'm like, what's the difference between you and Nikano? What makes you think you can sit on your high horse and be telling Nikano anything? Like, you just confused me. Like,
at the end of the day, right? Just think of that guy. Just think of Dr. Omar as, there's this like very proud old Nigerian men who are like if you grew up in the village, when you go to like a very typical village, that local setting, that people are not educated, right? Think of Dr. Omar as the one that mistakenly went to primary school and dropped out in primary 3. Do you understand?
local champion. Yeah.
Just think of him as one of those. You know how they always feel like they are in the right position to advise somebody? That is how I think.
I'm just like, is this guy crazy? Like, even as Nikan on day, I will still listen to 10 minutes of him talking. I don't even know you. It's
exactly,
not knowing his name.
Becca.
When you started explaining what he says on social media, I'm like, I don't care to know your name. I don't care to hear anything that comes out of your mouth.
Yeah,
Or
Black
you
Rose.
are sitting high, thinking you have some value to add to Nick Cannon, when both of you should be packed together and put inside one waste bin.
I will even pick Nick Cannon. As much as I hate ATE Nick Cannon, I will still pick him over that one. I'll still pick him over that one because, and that's why I tell women, be careful with one thing that women don't really pay attention. If a man is Pan-Africanist, right, you need to understand that in the core of that man believes that African traditions are beautiful. African traditions and our cultures are superior.
Not just beautiful.
Yeah, they are beautiful and they are superior. Okay, K Mama, we are talking about Dr. Omar.
If I'm sounding somehow about this man that I only even got to know his name today, is because it makes my stomach recoil. Like, it gives me
They were not respectful because they said no, they will not move in with him. How does that sound like somebody loving black women? Yes, he was doing tinko with them. How does that sound like somebody who loves or cares about black women? See, and I know that I judge people by their personal lives. You cannot talk about women in a certain way and you're like, I will judge you by your personal life. I don't care what you want to tell me. Your personal life should have.
Calls themselves doctor on social media. I have doctorate too, so I'm just curious.
That's the thing. To get a doctorate now is very easy now.
It's not, sis. There are people who are even addressed as doctor something that don't even have any doctorate. That is more like a nickname. And people wouldn't know because they will get to know that person as Dr. somebody and they will just roll with it like that.
They said he has a doctorate from University in Philadelphia.
What a shame.
And back to what I was even saying before my network went off. That a man is...
Wait, sorry. Yeah. Please, ladies, all these men that are telling you, like when you see a man that is platform, whether on social media or whatever, everything is about the evil of colonialism and how Africans need to band together and how we need to keep our women and this and that and
Pan-Africanist movement,
our women, how we need to protect our women and our children, and how these people are not good people. These men are not. They are just trying to form they are trying to oppress what their slave masters did to them. They are trying to do it to women and children, black women and children.
Because that's even what I'm saying, right?
Their cults.
These men are people who believe that the African tradition is a good thing. The African tradition is perfect. These are people who believe in the Pan-African movement. And the reason they believe so is because it serves them. And don't forget that African tradition enslaves you as a woman. It oppresses you. So that is why they believe in those things so much. And they are now preaching it to you and telling you, oh, the Western one is bad. Oh, it's their own that. I don't care about the Western tradition. I don't care about our African traditions either, because it's not like they are also liberating as well. You get? In fact, a lot of our women were accepting of the Western traditions or cultures because it came and it was less oppressive than our African cultures. That is why they were accepting of it. So this person is telling you in the same African Ola shared a video with me of a lady on her wedding day where they were trying to, she was grinding, is it corn or something? And they're like, those are our cultures. Do you get that? They are trying to test to see if the bride knows how to cook.
They will tell you it's colonial master that brought that one.
In my culture, I had said this on my live before. On your wedding day, you would bow. There's this movement that you carry food, stay from like a long distance and be squatting, you will squat. I don't know who has seen that video. There's one fitness coach like that that trains women or whatever on how to build their glutes. There's this
You'll be
squat.
squatting up and down, up and down, up and
Yes,
down.
that is how you will walk. That is how you will walk from that distance to take food to your husband. You will walk like that and go back. Walk like that and bring another food for your mother-in-law, your father-in-law. You know? So this subservience, that is what these people are trying to promote. And I don't know if y'all actually know about our cultures as Africans. Happy Sunday, come see. If
People will tell me, go, have you read so book? I'm like, hello, I don't need to read a stupid book. I was born and raised in Nigeria.
in Nigeria, I personally, if you, in fact, I can understand them telling you all to read a book because you were born in the West. Do you get? And education.
Which West? Look at this woman.
What I'm just trying to say is,
know where they born me.
Where they born you?
I was born in Lagos.
Yes, now, as in West Nigeria, not like Western world.
Oh, you
Southwest
Nigeria.
Yeah, Southwest. So you were born in Southwest, where education had come into Western education had come into Nigeria through the southern region. So even the whole colonialism, they experienced colonialism before any other region, right? Places like, when you go to places like Middle Belt, I don't know if you understand. So we still have our cultures. We still have places in Middle Belt Nigeria where our ancient cultures are still what is being practiced till this day. So nobody can tell me to read books about what colonial masters did to my culture. I saw my culture. I still see my culture till this day. There are still places where they still experience female genital mutilation till this day in Nigeria, till this day. And when you go to these places, you know that colonialism did not get there. Do you get? There's no electricity in my village till this day. There are no schools in my village till this day. Do you understand? So which book do you want me to go and read about African culture to convince me that colonial masters did something to my people?
Up to 2019, I was living in a part of Lagos where there are Saturdays that you cannot come out as a woman. You cannot come out of your home as a woman. This is not village.
Till today, in my village, there are times that if masquerades are coming out, women don't come out. And those are our traditions.
This is something that is well known and well established in Ikorodu. Even whenever they are doing those kind of rituals and stuff, there are times that you should not be outside until there's daylight. Like you can't be coming out 5:30 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. Even in redemption camp, around those times they will announce that, please, if you are living in Ikorodu and environs, blah 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 blah, please don't go home yet. Please wait until it's no longer dark or something. Like, these are modern day stuff, right? And then the Oro thing in Ikorodu, that one is not even in the dark. It will just be a Saturday and no woman will come out. All those market women, nobody, they will not open shop, they will not do anything. They will even tell us in church that, sisters, don't bother coming for workers' meeting this coming Saturday, or there's Oro. I'm talking about, this is 20, like this. It's still happening there. It's still happening this 2024.
Exactly. There's somebody sometimes I will come and hear people tell you, oh, African cultures used to be matriarchal. Like, come on now.
Which matriarchal?
Come on now.
Yeah.
Men, I saw one video of one guy that is like, the Igbo culture is matriarchal. I'm like, what the actual F is this one talking about? African cultures were they were not matriarchal before colonialism. Don't let anybody fool you. They were not. They were not. They were not. So don't let anybody fool you. Oh, this place is, and let me add this. Just because a culture is matrilineal does not make it matriarchal. Let me repeat, just because your culture is matrilineal, where you bear your mother's maiden name or whatever, when you bear your mother's family name, that does not make it matriarchal, because at the end of the day, it is still another man's name you're bearing. It is still another man's name. It's just the man that owned your mother. That's the one you're bearing. The man that gave birth to your mother is the one's name you're bearing. It does not make it hi ID. It does not make it matriarchal. So all those things that all these men will compile in books and come and deliver it to you people and tell you, oh, before all these Pan-Africanist men, oh, before colonialism, our ancestors were matriarchal. Tell them to describe to you what a matriarchy looked like. Let them let them paint a picture of what that matriarchy that they talked about looks like.
Yeah, I don't even need to read any book, because if it was Oyibo people that brought patriarchy to us, my father would love Oyibo people today. He would love them so much. That man, he hates he hates them to the point where if he's about to die today, and the treatment that can save his life would require him to come to the West, he would prefer to buy. Like, that is how much he hates them more than this Dr. Uma hates them. He hates them with a passion. If they were the ones that brought and he himself is Mr. Patriarchy. So that is all me. It might sound like weird way to learn something, but when it comes to this topic, I just need to look at the surroundings that I grew up
Exactly.
in.
Women, look
my
at
own
your
father
surroundings and
stuff.
don't be deceived. Because once men start making this
That
kind
is
of
all I
content,
need.
you will see women are their greatest supporters. Women are in their comment section. Yes, tell them. Tell them. And they think religion is their only problem. Religion is one of your problems as women, but religion is not your only problem. They think the issue of submission came from the Bible. The question of submission did not come from the Bible. The Bible got that submission thing from cultures. You need to understand, those things that are practiced within religion are things that are gotten from culture. Religion on its own does not
And
have
what
laws and
culture
regulations.
demands?
It doesn't. It is cultures that have rules and regulations. Religion does not have rules and regulation.
And people don't know what culture actually demands is even worse than the submission in the Bible.
Exactly.
I don't
It's
think
worse than
women
the
know that.
submission in the Bible.
Like, we can't even put it on equal we can't even put it on equal level. What culture demands of women is worse than submission. So if you have problem with the submission that the Bible is even teaching, and you think this Pan-Africanism nonsense is the way to go, is worse.
And
Is frying pan to fire.
let me even clear one particular thing that women believe, right? Women believe that religion, okay, contrary to what the definition of religion is the way of life, which I agree, right? It has come to be the way of life of people. But when they say you are a believer, I'm taking Christianity for example, but this applies to all other religion. But let me take Christianity for example. When they say you are a believer, it does not mean your way of life. Being a believer does not mean your way of life, right? What it means for somebody to be born again in Christianity is simply somebody who acknowledges that Jesus Christ is his Lord and personal Savior. That is all it takes. That is all it takes, right, for the person to be a believer. So whether or not the person lives in the footsteps of Jesus, it doesn't matter. As long as he believes Jesus Christ is his personal Lord and Savior, he is a Christian. And he's a Christian, he's a believer, and the person is going to make heaven. I don't know if you get it. And the same thing to Islam and other religions as well. If the person believes in the core message of the religion, that is all it takes for you to be a believer in that religion. So the whole idea of saying, oh, this person is a fake Christian because the person abuses his wife or because the person is misogynistic is not, right? So all the rules and regulations that you see within religion, they are actually rules and regulation of cultures. If you come to my place, Christianity is practiced very differently from how Christianity is practiced in Abuja. The first time that I saw women wearing trousers in a church, the fact that I was in that church alone and women were wearing trousers and not tying their head, I personally thought I was going to hell for even just sitting down there alone in the congregation of sinners. So I need you to understand that these things vary based on cultures and tradition. If you come to my place, a Christian woman in my place who is like, let's say there are a lot of Igbo people in my community, right? So let's say who went there for business. Let's say an Igbo woman is doing traditional marriage in my place in church, and she's a church member. You see this culture of tying wrapper on her chest and just tying that short wrapper. Except she goes to the south or southeast and do her tradition. But as long as she's doing it there, she will not do it. Why? Because I am a northern and we cover up more in the north than they do in other places. But when you move to the southeast, is okay. So even the same religion, you will see that the practices, the rules and regulations are still different within the same religion. Why? Because religion takes its rules and regulation from cultures. So one thing I need you to understand is that religion in itself does not have rules and regulation. The only thing it takes for you to be a member of that religion is just to believe the core message of that religion. That is all it takes for you to be a part of a religion. Any other rules and regulation you see are cultural. And that is why till today,
Let
till
me give
tomorrow,
a
they'll
couple
tell you
more
that culture
examples.
and religion intersect. Yeah.
A couple more examples. So it was when I went to so even after I had lived when I lived in the US, I was attending Redeem. When we are fasting, we are fasting. Okay. It's when we want to break, we will drink water or eat. And then when I now went to Europe, Amsterdam, I also was in a Redeem church. And that was the first time that I saw that during fasting, people will be drinking water, drinking coffee, drinking tea. We see they fast, so we never break. Like, I'm not saying they are drinking it in their homes, so it will be available for you in church.
Yeah.
There will be tea and coffee at the back of the church. There will be bottled water. They will even be announcing from the pulpit that there's water at the back if you need to get some water. Now we're going to keep praying. We still dey fast, we never break.
Thank you,
And
Kelly.
I was like, what's going on here? Right? And this
Soila,
wasn't just
thank
a
you.
question of, it wasn't a question of, it wasn't a question of, oh, the parishes were just doing what they want. No, they actually had formal written permission from Pastor E. Adeboye that they can drink tea and drink water and drink all these things.
And
while
mind you,
fasting.
Nigeria is a more dry country, a more
That permission
sunny.
no reach Nigeria.
Is a more sunny country.
Yeah.
Is
So,
a more
when
sunny
I now
country where
returned-
people need to rehydrate more.
When I returned to Nigeria, I was telling people in my small parish, say, now wetin I see for Europe be this. So they were like, Shebi, you know that their place is cold. That's why they are drinking tea. I'm like, okay, maybe we don't need tea in Nigeria, but we need
We
water.
need water.
Our weather here is terribly hot. You get dehydrated here in the sun. We are the ones who actually need water. But no, they won't let you, they won't even talk about that.
She awakens. Yeah, we need ice cream too.
Right? Because they know that.
Say we need cold coke.
And I remember my ex-brother-in-law too, that lived in the UK at the time, was telling me that people in UK, in Redeem in UK, they go eat yogurts while doing 100-day fast. And I've also listened to a preacher. This is an American preacher. Is that Andrew Womack? That guy that Mina said opened his eyes to grace message or whatever. He was saying that, so that man, that preacher, he's never drank, smoked, he's like spirit cocoa, married as a virgin. He doesn't even drink coffee.
Monday, I make my yogurt myself.
Coffee for him is even coffee for him is Andrew, yeah, coffee for him is a no. Not even to talk of alcohol or anything. And he said he went to minister somewhere in Europe. I can't remember the country. And in that place, people they believe that drinking alcohol is a sin for believers. But of course, they drink coffee just like people do in the US. He now went to another country to minister in that same Europe. For those ones, alcohol is okay. But drinking coffee is a no. Like, when you drink coffee, they just look at you like a drug addict. But they drink beer in church. Like, beer to them is just like malt in Nigeria. It's just a regular beverage. He said he was not thinking that, that's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. But if you drink coffee, they will look at you and they will question your salvation. But they will drink beer in church. It's all cultural, right? So anyway, I thought that was interesting, especially that whole drinking water, drinking tea and stuff. It just opened my eyes to how, even though it's the same denomination, right? The same leader, but the things that are permitted in one place is not permitted in the other. And I'm like, why? So I feel like they treat people based on the exposure they know that those people have, or, oh, okay, these people will kick against, why can't we drink tea? Let's just let them drink it. Right? And then these Nigerians, where the ones in Nigeria, their mindset is still at a place where they feel like if they drink water during a fast, God will not answer their prayer. So let's just not let them drink water. Which to me is just oppressive in a way.
So don't
Why not
get
educate people and let them know that tea with milk in it and whatnot.
Even deeper life also.
She awakens even in Redeem self. The parish I went to in Lagos, you cannot just show up with trousers in church. And here in Canada, if you see Deeper Life people, you won't even recognize them as Deeper Life. You won't recognize them as Deeper Life. I used to have a Deeper Life neighbor, which is story for another day, because that guy was the most promiscuous person I've ever come across in my life.
Just don't get deceived.
While I was married though.
Just don't get deceived as a woman and be like, oh, African. Those traditions were not in favor of you. Those traditions were never matriarchal. That's just what I want to emphasize. The patriarchy in Africa is on a different, and then they will tell you things like it was colonialism that brought about a woman bearing bearing a man or her husband's surname. That does not mean anything, because in Africa we didn't used to count people. There was nothing like census for you to count people and be like, oh, you need, or we were not registering for anything. We didn't have banks, right? So we didn't have banks, we didn't have schools. So at what point did you need to write your surname anywhere? I don't know if you guys understand. You don't even need to write your surname anywhere. We didn't have schools, we didn't have banks. So where did you need to use a surname that within Africa they are telling you, oh no, you can use your father's name? There was no need for you to even use any name. Because when they even call you, at most they'll call you Timi, the wife of this person, or Timi, if you're still single, the daughter of this person at the end of the day. So the only reason why that was even an issue in the West is because they had banks that women could not even own bank accounts and all. That does not mean if you get married in Africa, you're not considered the man's property. You definitely are. You were considered the man's property as well. So
Even deeper life is going to start looking a little different in the next 10, 15 years now, because I see say Kumuyi's son is gearing to take over now.
Mandy said that's the only thing my papa tried, no bride price or dowry for his daughters. It still doesn't change anything. That's the thing. Whether they pay bride price, they don't pay bride price in the West, like Western countries.
Yeah, my father too returned.
They don't pay bride price, but still.
My father returned the bride price on the day of the engagement. He said that he's not selling his daughter. But me, I know that I was being sold, whether they collected money or not.
Or not. You don't understand. The question, women tend to have gotten a lot of messages. Can I talk about this bride price thing? I'm like, this bride price does not change anything. Forget bride price. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't stop the fact that these people, it is an exchange. The fact that, see, let me even burst your bubble, right? That thing is an exchange of power that they say, who gives this lady out for marriage. I know it's a Western culture, but they still have those practices in Nigeria as well. Let me tell you how people do weddings in my place. I think I want to start a series of how African cultures are misogynistic, and then I would even begin with my own cultures, and then I'll be giving y'all like one culture after the other, and then you also can share your own, because I feel like when you begin to talk about one of the practices within your culture, then it helps women to think about how their own cultures too. There's something
and
off
bride
about
price
it.
Is even Christian. For those that are Christian that are mad about bride price, is actually biblical.
Yeah.
So what are you
my
going
own
to do
place,
about that
if you
one?
want to marry a woman in my place, it's usually very young girls that they marry. When they go to all this age group play, moonlight play kind of thing, just go with your friends and kidnap the lady. They put her in their hut and make sure she does not escape, of which there's no way for her to escape. Those huts usually have one very small window that a person can barely squeeze in, except you're like extremely slim. That's when you can squeeze out of that window. But they will just have the door, and then the guy's friends will help him guard the door, and he will RAPEU in the room. And if he RAPEs you before you were able to come out of that room, you are automatically his wife. The only thing he needs to do by morning is to get his uncle to take hoe, a mat, and then a mat, a hoe, and a few things, to go to your father's house and tell your father that his daughter is with him. He likes his daughter and he has married the daughter. And that is how marriage is. We don't have anything like traditional marriage. It is religion that made us to have something now that we practice that they call send forth. If you hear anybody in northern Nigeria or middle belt mostly, people from the middle belt do not have traditional marriages, that like traditional marriage ceremony. Let me say, we don't have those ceremonies. You see those things you people do, you close wine, you go, or the Yoruba culture where they write letter. We don't have those. That is what our traditional marriage is. This thing that I just explained. And the father will take the hoe And then from there they will now come later to discuss what needs to be paid. And in my place, you never even get to finish paying bride price. Like, you don't pay bride price in my culture, that you've paid once and for all and you finish. You don't. Till the woman will on her life, you will still be paying. Every year you go and farm for the father and you farm for the mother. That is how they pay bride price in my place. So for the rest of your life, you're going to be paying for that woman to be your wife. Okay, Essay, welcome. Thank you. You pay for that woman to be your wife. That is how they do it. So assuming
I will just run away to Lagos and be selling bread on the streets of Lagos.
from where now, if they do that to you?
Before somebody capture me.
Hey, yeah. You don't understand, Ola. There are people in my village that have never visited. There are girls in my village that have never visited Lantan, as in the local government district. Do you understand? Ola, do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
They have never visited my local government district, let alone Jos, let alone Lagos or Abuja or anywhere else. See, people are celebrating seeing a vehicle. You're talking about.
They're dancing around the car. Jalopy car.
There's this lady on Nafe. If you know this photographer, you guys should know her now, Jemima. She has a brand called Kenafe. I don't know, does anybody know her? She used to be a Zaron model that married Emmanuel the Oyeleke photography. She's from we're from the same local government as well. That's Plateau State, SA. And this my place that I'm telling you, there are places that are worse. So there are places that are worse than that self. She's from a similar place. Shebi she took this guy, what's that his name? This guy that usually just helps people. What's that guy's name? Ashakain. She took him to go and sink borehole in her own village and all. And I'm seeing the way those women were rejoicing. Well, I never know how far. Go on her page. That her own place is even a more developed place. Go on her page and see that video. Or you go on Asha Kind's Instagram. The video is there. It's even a more developed place compared to where I'm talking about. And then because that place is like that her own side is already a district. There are so many places like that in Nigeria. You guys don't even be surprised by it. There are so many places like that in Nigeria. There are so many places like that. So don't let anybody fool you into telling you, oh, our traditions were matriarchal. It's matrilineal. Yeah.
And when they want to say things like, oh no, that one is culture, that's not Christianity. I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, why is it that is a man that has to walk you down the aisle? Have you ever thought about that? That even if your father is deceased, they will not say your mother should do it.
Yeah.
They will prefer even your younger
brother to walk you
down the aisle, or some dusty uncle that you actually do not know to walk you down the aisle before they will let your mother walk you down the aisle.
Traditionalist people will say, oh, that's a Christian culture. It is not a Christian culture. They'll say it's a Western culture. It is not. It is a patriarchal culture. It exists even within any other culture. It exists. How many cultures do you know that it is the mother of the woman that gives the woman out in marriage? How many cultures do you know?
One of my brothers, when he was going to get married, and my father was like, okay, we need to meet the family and blah blah blah. And his wife, the lady he married, she was not on good terms with the family of her late husband. Like she had even left that man before that man, passed on and stuff. And she raised her kids by herself. She left him because na yeye man and all that, and he went with another woman, and then the man, died and stuff, and she raised her kids by herself, and now her daughter wants to get married, and they're like, oh, okay, but who is the man in the family? What of our father's family? Which father's family? Father's family that they've not had anything to do with in years. Do you know how annoyed and upset and irritated my father was about the whole thing? And me, I couldn't understand it. I'm like, why is my father so bothered about this? Is it that women are not human? Like, it just confused me back then.
They are not, obviously.
And he was so upset about it to the point where he started saying nonsense about that woman. Somebody you don't even know was like, all these women, they will not sit down in husband's house. They will not do this one. Which husband are you even talking about? They already told you that this man has been deceased for years and years and years. They will not sit down in husband's house. They will just be going up and down, up and down. Now the daughter wants to marry. There's no but. I'm just like, this man is a maniac. How did I ever come from his loins? And the irony now is that out of all the in-laws, this woman is the only one that actually honors my father, right? And call him daddy, and phone him and check on him. And whenever any of our other kids are doing something, she would invite my father. She's the only one that treats him like somebody that has sense. All the other in-laws, the last time you will probably have conversation with them is wedding day. Like, I know that my own Chisom, am I that funny? I just don't understand that man. And the older he gets, the worse he gets. Right? That woman was the only in-law that had still till today, she's the only one that has, don't let me even say decent relationship, just relationship, period. Right? But it's been many years now, but I still can never forget his attitude and how he talked down at that woman, and it just makes me like, bleh. Every opportunity I have to talk about that man, I do. It makes me want to vomit, Chisholm. It really, really makes me want to vomit. I feel like after he's dead and gone, he can probably still make me vomit, because I have never seen someone hate women to that degree and hate white people to that degree. That's why all this Pan-African nonsense, I never fall for it. And when people recommend books, I'm like, are you kidding me? I was raised by a man who could have written books on this stuff.
When you even start reading those books, right? When you read those books, a lot of those things are not even true. I'm resisting the urge to say they are lies. A lot of those things are not true, right? And even the ones that are true, right? You can tell that these are things that women are still experiencing these things. Women are still experiencing these things. What makes the one that we are generally experiencing plus men special? We are all in it together, right?
This Dr. Umar that is saying snow bunny, this one, that one. He's still living in America now. He's still living among white people. The degree to which my own father hates white people, I'm telling you, his grandchildren were born abroad. He refused to come. He refused to travel to come and even see his own grandchildren. That is how much he hates Oyibo people, Oyibo land, anything that has to do with Oyibo. So Dr. Woman no even feel hates them reach that. I'm telling you that you don't know what it is like to live in the same home with this kind of people. He did not see, he has grandkids. His oldest grandkids now are in their 20s. He has never laid eyes on them because, God forbid, he comes to Igbo land just for the sake of. My mother was sick. My brother wanted to take her to Europe for treatment. He refused. You don't, have you ever met someone that hates white people and colonialism to that level? He refused. When I got the opportunity to travel to the US after my NYC, the embassy sent letter to me. I won visa lottery and all those things. Nobody told me. I was at NYC. Nobody told me. You know why? My father did not want me to go to Oyibo land. That is how much he hated. He hated this people. So all these men on social media are talking nonsense. Me, I even see them as like a counterfeit version of my father. I've never met someone that is so pan-African as much as my father. Is a special kind of hatred. And even when my brothers talked him into letting me go to the US, he called me and he told me, and he was like, you are only going for education. I'm like, it's not student visa I got permanent resident there. He's like, you are only going to go for education. You are going to get your master's degree. And then as soon as you get your master's degree, you have to come back to Nigeria. The way they talk the master's degree, you go
Pepe said that's selfish though. Was it supposed to be selfless?
It's deeper than selfish. It is real hatred.
She wished selfishness was the thing. She wished the issue was just selfishness.
It's like, to think it's selfish is like comparing fainting to somebody buying. It's not selfish. It's not selfish. It's deeper than that. It is real hatred.
And you're talking about a man being selfish as if it's news.
Selfish is normal now. That one is a normal thing. It's a normal thing. But for someone to get to a point where your wife...
Pepe, you are a woman. She's a woman. And she's his child. Let me tell you why that man does not think it's selfish. Number one, she's a woman. Number two, she's his child. So,
I'm his property.
So you cannot talk about her own desires. She dares not have desires.
You are their property. Women find it hard to let this sink into their heads. You are not a partner. You are property. Property, like the shoe that man
and if you are a child, you are not a human being. You are a property again.
You are like a piece of clothing, like the shirt they wear. So if that person chooses that I'm not wearing this blue shirt today, you can't say, oh, the shirt cannot say, oh, it's being selfish. Like, no. You are not human. You don't
Tima June 8. Her father is a man. Tima, her father is a man.
He's just a man. He's a man. That's all.
So whether he's a narcissist or not, he's a man. At the end of the day, because this is not something that is peculiar to narcissists. This is something that every man, it is a man thing.
In fact, my mother wanted to, because my mom was a businesswoman, right? That she used to travel a lot. And she had...
Love OC, I think you guys should see my video on YouTube. I have a video that I said, I don't know what I titled that video. But I'm like, all men are on the spectrum of narcissism. See that video.
So my mom wanted to go have me in the UK. And when I say my mom wanted to go have me in the UK, it's not like how Nigerian women travel abroad now to go and have babies. No, not like that. Like my mom she was an international businesswoman. She's the kind of person that when she goes to the UK to do business, she's not staying in hotel. She's staying in apartments. Do you understand? She had business accounts in the UK. She would get apartment to stay in. She wasn't like a touristy kind of traveler. I mean, she wasn't residing there. You understand what I'm trying to say? She
Tima,
wasn't
the life
residing there,
is
but
on. I'm streaming on YouTube as well, so it's going to be on YouTube as well. So whenever you have time, you can come back to my YouTube to see it.
yeah, so she had the means and all of that. Right? When she travels, she will go for weeks at a time to conduct business before she comes back home. So
You're welcome.
I don't know, maybe because I was the last child or whatever, I don't know. She just wanted to go have me in the UK. My father said, N-O, capital N-O, no. And you know, he talks, the only reason I even know this story is because my father used to boast about it too. That it was like, that he doesn't even understand these people that go abroad to have children. That's how when his wife wanted to go have me abroad, it was like no way that why would I would be here in Nigeria, his wife would be having baby in UK. What nonsense. Honestly, I don't even know how to explain this man's hatred. And if I tell, I won't even bother going into the story of how his hatred got to be that way because the story is so stupid. Right? Like if it's somebody that has a story of, oh, white man came to our village and they slaughtered my family, one can still understand how that person would have an hatred for them, right? If I tell you my own father's story, it's just too stupid. I won't even bother to go into it. It's so ridiculous. I'm telling is my oldest niece. I don't know. She should be somewhere like mid-20s or even late 20s at this point. Probably late 20s. I don't even know what I'm saying. That girl is
Cosex said,
approaching
what did
30.
your mom see in your dad? I'm asking respectfully. You guys think our mothers had the kind of weddings we have today? That's why when I tell you people that don't listen to these people that are Pan-Africanists, I like that you even asked that question. Our parents did not marry because they saw something in the men that they married. They did not. Let me, before all I even tells if she wants to talk about why her mother married her father, that's if she knows. There's this woman who used to be friends with my mom that would this woman was 12 years old and she loved the idea of school that men get to go to school and the rest, so she wanted to go to school. This woman at 12, they told her, oh, they are taking her to school in Kaduna, and she was over the moon. She was excited. They carried this woman at 12 years old, took her to Kaduna to go and marry not retired, to go and marry a soldier who was almost 40. This guy was almost 40. They took her to go and marry him at 12. And this woman had 6 children, which are all female. And this guy beat the crap out of this woman, abused the living hell out of this woman for all these years. Until this man retired, cracked her head like this open. With beating, oh, like carry the head, jam am for wall, crack am open. This woman no kpai. So when they tell you that, oh, what did this person see in this man? What did these women see in this man? A lot of them did not marry because they dated this man. They did not.
I don't think young ladies even understand that having a choice in who you marry
Is a very recent thing. It's a very recent thing.
It's a privilege, and that's not just in African society, even in Western society.
Yes. It's very recent.
There are still cultures in Asia, in the West, depending on the family's class, even in this 2024, where women still do not have a choice in who they marry. And I'm not talking about poor families now, I'm talking about very, very wealthy families. Like, before you are out of diapers, they have already arranged who you are going to marry. And this is not even in Africa.
And mind you, it still happens
They
in
would already have
Africa.
arranged that you are going to marry the son of your father's business partner or something, to keep the wealth in the family.
Everything you enjoy as a woman today, just know that it's not been so long that you had the right to do that. It's not been so long. Love OC, divorce has
And
always been. It's just that women were
and it's
not the ones.
because
Women didn't
women,
have the right to divorce, because even if you want to divorce the person and you leave, like in my place, right, you can divorce the person. But the problem is that where will you go to if you divorce the man? Because definitely not your family house, and there's nowhere else for you to go, right? But in my place, there's what they call, you can run with, like, it's like running away with fight. So you will maybe the man beat you or he did something, you can run back to your father's house and stay there for a while. So after a while, the man is expected to come back to your family to report to him that you're no longer in his house, like he didn't see you again. So when he comes to say that, then he will find out you're still home. Then they will sit you they will ask him what happened and all. So after they had done the whole reconciliation, abi they sit down to talk about it with him, he will go and bring his family, that's his uncle. So his uncle will come and beg on his behalf. Then they will come with corn, bags of corn, and some other things that they will require of him for whatever he did to you, to pretty much appease your father for him beating you. Then they will take you back. And that's how, but if you don't want to go, you have to make sure that you are able to find another man to marry you out, because you cannot remain in that house and keep being a disgrace to your father. So hopefully another man comes and marry you. But if another man does not come to marry you, your father is definitely going to send you away.
and for those that maybe have been here at some point at a previous time, where I mentioned that when I was going to get married, they told me that I have to take my luggage, put my luggage in the car that was going to drive me to church, that I'm not allowed to come back to the house to pick up my luggage after wedding reception. And, for some people hearing that, they will just think, wow, your family must be so horrible. But they are following culture and tradition is what it is. Do you understand? That is that's part of the African culture that these stupid men on social media
They're trying to sell to you.
sell to you as, oh, we are under white oppression. Let's go back to our this. That is what they are selling to women, and women are eating it up because they are calling you African.
Right now, like this, the oppression that they are talking about is the fact that you have rights, and then they cannot do whatever they like to you. That is what they think is oppressive, even as it is right now. That's why they'll tell you, oh, don't bring your wife to abroad, oh, don't take your wife abroad, oh, she will do this one, oh. The laws there support women. They say the laws support women. They don't even say the law supports justice. They tell you the law supports women. Somebody is asking, say,
they
dem beat you, now your papa, then they are peace. Say they
That's
beat.
the evil of the Western world is
Yeah.
that they at least compared to African culture, they see women as humans to an extent. That is why Western culture is so evil and they will not enter heaven. That's why Western culture is Babylon.
Say they are. Say they beat you. They appease your father.
See,
That
if
is the
women
thing.
just take a moment to think, they will get it. But the problem is when somebody
Sarah,
is
it's
calling them
weird.
African queen, they are not thinking again.
It's
Their
weird.
brain just switches off. And when my father also told me that now that we have done introduction and I have met this guy's parents and his siblings, you cannot come back and tell me that you are not marrying him again. I will not recognize any other man after this one that you have already brought. It wasn't because he was some controlling narcissist. He was also following culture and tradition.
Yeah.
Yoruba people will tell you that King Mo Oko Mokatumale or something like that, which means we can't accept our child's husband and also accept uh somebody. Tofumi, help me. I'm struggling to translate to Yoruba. Like, you can't accept your daughter's husband and also be welcoming to her boyfriend. Do you get, like, she can't be with two men and you would approve of that. I had not even married this guy yet. But the fact that we did introduction in my father's parlor is like, this is the person you have to marry.
Yeah.
It cannot be any other man.
It happens in
That
our
was
place as
culture.
well.
Yeah,
She
that's
awake and
the
say now why
African
Two-Face
culture.
sang African Queen with his wife and he's showing the
It's not
woman.
it's not a narcissistic controlling thing. It is culture. What you people are calling narcissistic and controlling is the culture. Like, we think we have this beautiful culture and then some men are narcissistic. No. That thing that I'm telling you, and
Yeah.
it's coming off to you as, oh, Ola's father is narcissistic. No. It is the culture. It is the reason why a woman will run back home and say, my husband is abusing me, and they will not let her come inside. They will say, go back. It is the culture. Because women ask questions like, is it that they don't love their daughter? Is it that they hate their daughter? No, it is culture. When they are telling you that, let's not forget our culture. Let's not forget our culture. It is that culture. Our culture isn't just about Owambe parties and nice outfits and all this other
The
wonderful
people who
things.
eat, most of the people who eat up that thing, they are usually these people who come from abroad, who lived maybe almost all their lives abroad. Women who accept that Pan-African movement thingy, they are women who live abroad. Because when they tell you, yeah, just like you're saying, oh, in our culture, the only culture those women know are cultures where
Sophie, culture did not get corrupted, though. That is culture in
culture
its purest form.
culture did not get any corrupted. In fact, the corrupted version of culture is even the one that is less misogynistic. I'm telling you, that corrupted version that you think is corrupted, culture did not get corrupted. That's what I want people to understand. In my Ashanti kingdom is not matriarchal, it is matrilineal. Matrilinealism is different from matriarchy.
The fact that children belong to their mothers and not the father does not mean the society was matriarchal. And let me give you an example of culture being corrupted, if you think the corruption is the problem. An example of our culture being corrupted is them not accepting bride price and saying we are not selling our daughter. That is corruption of culture. When in the South, when we have babies and we are naming the baby on the 7th day, and we are calling pastor instead of doing it the traditional. That is
That is
corruption of
corruption
culture.
of culture.
When a pastor is the one naming your child, that's the corruption of like a pastor conducting this thing. That is corruption of culture. Your father returning the bride price saying, no, we are not selling our daughter, I'll just take care of her. That is corruption of culture. A woman losing her husband in the southeast, and they say, no, 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 let's not shave her head.
Yeah, that is
Let's not shave her
corruption of
hair.
culture.
Let's not give her the water that was used to wash the corpse body to drink. That's not nice. That is corruption of culture. So now that corruption go save even what is helping women to some extent.
Yeah, that you are able to say, don't return my bride price. That's corruption of culture.
Me, I'm Yoruba. God was never a woman in my own culture. God has always been male in my culture.
Even when they tell you that, oh, when God is a woman in certain cultures, they are talking about what is like mini gods. They are not talking about the almighty God. So like within the
Like
Igbo tribe
like
now,
this,
when they
there's a
talk about
supreme
God, there is
God,
a supreme God, then there are smaller gods
then
that
there
they
are
call the
lesser
chi.
gods.
That's when they tell you the chi, one of your chi can be a woman. But the supreme God, even within that,
Like for those that are Yoruba, Eledumare has never been a
he has
woman.
never been a woman.
They can say God of fertility is a woman,
Yeah.
God of this one, but the supreme one has never been a woman. Yeah, those were the mini gods. And they were all still
At this point, right, let me even tell you,
supreme one.
at this point, I'm at a place where I don't even care if God is a woman, God is a man. I don't even care the gender of God. I don't care. Whatever I find oppressive to me, I'm not practicing. And I don't care if it makes the God happy or not.
Do you know there's this church in the US where they modified their praise and worship songs that have like so this was not the exact song, but I'll use this one as an example. So let's say they want to sing
She awakens.
He
That's a
came
very
from
long
heaven.
story that I can't share on this live, oh. Because our guests will soon be here by 4.
So like every praise and worship song that uses the pronoun he, or that says Heavenly Father, that kind of thing, they change it to mother. They change it to mother. All
Tofumi,
the
come
he
and eat
pronoun,
Oju
they change
Kokoro.
it
I'll
to
join you in
she.
witchcraft, oh. I'll carry you join sorcery.
They change it to she, and I saw that video on social media, and people in the comments were just like, oh, this is blasphemy, this is this and that, this is not Christianity, this is, and I'm like, why are people this bothered about, like, these people have not said that Jesus is not the son of God or anything. They just change he to she, change father to mother, and their head is blowing up already.
The sovereign I actually agree. Oh, they can, if there is a supreme being God, it definitely has to be. If the God has a gender, it will definitely be a woman. That I know. The men that I know and their character is not capable of governing anything.
The way I know that
Yeah, I don't have a problem with
some
that knowledge, sovereign. I don't have a problem with that knowledge. I personally now, the supreme being that I believe in is a woman.
the when I know that people are about someone is about to bullshit me is when they say something like shebi omo Yoruba ni e," which means shebi you are Yoruba, like, and I'm like, so what if I'm Yoruba? Why should I do things a certain way? Do you get?
Yeah. But sovereign,
So because I'm
even that woman will be the supreme being, I still dey vex for am, because you cannot sit down and fold your hands and be seeing all this. There has to be a reasonable
yeah, I think
reason
she's
why.
depressed.
Oh, I think she's oppressed as
I
well.
think
One of the two. She's
I think
either
she's
depressed
yeah,
or
I think
oppressed,
she's
or in chain
because
somewhere where
when
she myself she no get access to her own powers.
I think she just tired. She just tired and she's depressed and she's sick and nobody's taking care of her. And she's just tired and she's just like, you guys do whatever you want to do.
Me, I feel like she's in chains. I feel like they captured her. Anyway, yeah, I think so too. Sovereign, I think so too.
Because as a mom who was in abuse, I can totally relate. I could not be a mother to my children when I was in abuse. I just could not function as a mother. Timmy, you know that man that I sent you the email that he sent me and you were like, this man is disrespectful, that why
Yeah,
am I
yeah.
still being respectful to him? So the person that introduced me to him that I actually have a decent relationship with, right? I sent him a voice note. I was like, this man, I think because he thinks he's Yoruba and I'm a woman, he thinks he can talk to me anyhow. Before I tell him anything, I want you to warn him. Oh, I'm not like your typical Yoruba woman. Oh. I don't care how old a man is. I can rubbish him. I sent
Facts.
that voice note to his because I said I can
Kelly,
rubbish
hi.
him. Oh. I'm not as okay as you think I am. Oh. I can be real with you.
Olu,
I
that's
don't
true.
care if he's 60 years old. Oh. Even my father is almost 90 and he cannot talk to me in this manner. So that man has not responded because I think he shocked him because he looks at me like, oh, this nice lady. He was one of the people that was trying to fix me up with husband when I got divorced because he thinks I'm a nice Yoruba girl. I told him, I said, I'm not nice, so I don't get sense like that. Oh. I don't care how old this motherfucker is. If he doesn't start putting some respect to my name, I will rubbish him for this Canada.
Tell them say the home
He
training
just
where you
listens to
get,
the
you
voice
don't throw
note.
away the home
He know
training
it.
for dustbin.
Eh?
Tell them say the home training where they give you, you don't willfully throw away am for dustbin.
I never really took it. They use cane beat am into myself. I no take am. Now religion deceive me, make I want take am small. That guy, I'm just watching him in 3D, making him and his family have a Merry Christmas. It's next year that he will know, say, I get weary for head.
I'm cutting the YouTube one now so that I can start over again because our our guest will come anytime soon. Let me do that so that I can message him.